It's Dennis. We're here today in one of my videos. We're going to show you my compost operation. This is a lifetime compost, 80 gallon I believe it is. I showed it before in a previous video when we were talking about the bags and breaking them down. That project's still ongoing, so I'll have some updates with that. This compost in here has been brewing for probably, I would say, closer to 2 months. I did this over the summer, and I add chicken waste, food waste. Do not use meat or anything with seeds in it, because if you put seeds in there, it will grow back in your garden next year and you may end up with something you don't want, and then meat will go rancid and it'll be just a disaster in your compost. So pretty much like banana peel, if you peel your cucumbers, cucumber ends of the carrots, all that stuff all goes in here. And I even put paper bags in here. There's paper bags in here somewhere, but you won't know where they were because it broke down. So pretty much this is the final result. Nice soil. Does not smell at all. Smells like you just dug fresh soil in the woods. That's what you want as your compost. That will go into the garden, and that'll grow you some nice plants next year. Nice flowers, beautiful flowers, big vegetables, very healthy stuff. So this is the final result. So I'm going to be showing you how to start a compost, but I want to show you what the final result is and how I'm going to empty this lifetime composter. This rod falls out in this particular one for no good reason, but this is the aeration rod. But I mix this up enough that it's no big deal. So we're going to pull the wagon forward a little bit. Rock it to the next. There's a latch on here. It's going to come just enough. And now I'll be able to just put this, scoop this, shovel this right in here real nice and easy, the best I can. So that's some pretty nice stuff there. That's thousands of pounds that would have went to the dump. Now the township doesn't have to pay for it. It goes back into the ground, and that's actual nature's recycling right there. But thousands, so tons of this stuff a year I'm saving from going to the dump. So this is what you want. Nice. They call it black gold in the gardener terms. I do have, that's a corn cob, and it just falls right apart. When I rototill that stuff in the spring, that'll just chop right up. That's it. I'm going to empty this out. When I get done emptying it out, I'm going to show you how to load it and properly to get it started. So you add into it for about a month or so, and then when you put your final one, hopefully within 2 months, you'll have a result like this. In cold weather, it takes a little longer, so that's why I'm trying to start moving some of this stuff so I have some extra room in the winter. But summertime, you can really break this down in sometimes 4 to 5 weeks. The composter's finally unloaded. I just scraped the sides down a little bit, leave a little bit in the bottom. You don't need to leave much, just enough to leave a little bacteria for the next batch. That'll help get your next batch going a lot faster when you start the next compost. So just leave a little bit left in there. This is the second wagon load I'm taking down to the garden. So probably 700 to 1,000 pounds of material that did not go into the dump. Wood shavings, premium horse bedding from the chickens where they underneath the roost at night where they lay their droppings. I pick that up every morning and I place it in the composter. Coffee filter, coffee grounds, bananas, all kinds of vegetable related products. Do not put seeds in there, otherwise that'll grow in your garden next year. You end up having a weed problem or something you don't want coming up. And do do not put meat in there or anything like that. No meat, no fish, or anything like that, because what happens, that'll go rancid and then cause a major smell issue for you. And what I do is, you'll see in a little bit, is I'm going to go get, I have a pile of wood shavings that are breaking down. I'll put them in here, and then I'll start loading the composter, and I'll water it down, mix it up, and then over time, over the next month or so, I'll keep adding and adding and adding, and then I'll pick a day, and then I'll cut it off, and then I'll just let that go for like another month and a half. So that's how it works. It's nothing too super scientific or anything, but you definitely want to have like a little bit of knowledge to get your mixes right, so you don't have an odor problem, and you want your stuff breaking down, not just sitting in there. Okay, here I have a wood shavings pile that I am going to draw from here, and we're going to be putting this into the compost. So when I clean the chicken yard in the spring, put this stuff here, knowing that I'm going to use it as brown material. This is carbon that'll go into the composter. So this is my base of carbon, and this stuff is already starting to break down because I've been watering it all summer. So this should really help the compost accelerate. But these wood shavings that I use on the bottom of the chicken house in the winter time to keep the chickens warm, and it gives them a little cushion when they come down off the roost. You know, they get dirty and you have to change them out. When I do my spring cleaning, I this out of there. You want to, you know, I put fresh stuff in. I may even do a little bit in the fall here. I'll do another fall cleaning, and they'll be ready for winter. So here's my carbon material. It's wood. And I'll put this into the composter next, and this will be the base. Okay, I'm back at the composter. I'm putting in the wood shavings that we had sitting over there in that pile, and we're going to fill the composter up just a little over halfway. And when it's a little over halfway, we'll stop, and that'll leave me some room so I can add into the composter for the next month of the table scraps, the chicken manure, the chicken waste from the yard, anything else we'll put in the composter, and that'll break down a little bit over time. And then probably when the end of the month comes, probably around this time in October, I'll stop adding to it, and then, you know, I'll wait 5 weeks, and it should be fine. You know, it should come out almost as good as the other stuff that we took out before. If it needs a little more time, we'll give it another week or two. But there's no exact science to it. It all depends on the weather. When it's warmer in the summer, you usually do a little better, and when it's colder in the winter, it takes a little longer. The enzymes still work in the winter time if you work everything properly. So it really doesn't matter how cold it is. It's making sure your mixture is right, and have enough nitrogen, and you have enough carbon in there so you don't get the smell. Okay, in case you're wondering, this is a Starbucks reusable cup, plastic straw, reusable, and I probably used it like 500 times refilling this. That's a 2-day Italian roast cold brew from the fridge with a splash of vanilla creamer in there. It's really good. Alright, so here we are with stuff I cleaned up from the chicken yard today when I raked it all out, and we're going to dump this into the composter. It's a little dry, so I'm going to go get the hose, and we're going to water it. But you can see I have watermelon rinds that the chickens were working on earlier. There's chicken manure in here, and some of the bedding, the premium horse bedding, that when I pick up the chicken manure in the morning, it ends up in there. So I'm going to go get some the hose, and we're going to start watering this down. We're going to mix it up, and then we're going to let it sit. Okay, I'm going to add some water in here. We're going to start watering this down. And you see when I dumped it in there before how dusty it was. Kind of want to evenly water it and get everything good and moist. You don't want to overwater it. There's no exact science. You don't want to underwater it either, because then the enzymes won't work. And you don't want to overwater it. You don't want to drown them. So I'll put just enough in there. Just enough to get everything wet and moist. And we'll spin it around a few times. And then, as I said, I'm going to continue to add to this over the next month. And then around this time in October, I'll stop adding, and then I'll let it sit for 5 weeks, and then I'll have black gold like I showed you before, hopefully. And if the weather's a little cold, we'll let it sit a little longer. But usually about 5 weeks does it. And we got the rest of September. Should still be pretty warm. That's probably it. That should probably be enough to get it started. And yeah, put those over there. Close it up. Remember, this is the Lifetime 80-gallon. Picked up a little bit too much soil, but the soil being in there is actually good, because that's actually more enzymes that will help get the compost going. So like if you have a little trouble and your compost is not starting, if you didn't leave like a little bit left over, you can pick a little soil up, throw it in there, and hopefully that starts it for you. And if not, they have some commercial product that you can put in there. I haven't ever had to use that yet, but commercial product is available that are enzymes that you can buy commercially and stick them in there to get your compost going faster. But I don't think you really need it. I haven't used it, never came across the need yet. But that's it. So I'll show you the progress on my other two, what I got so far, and seeing the final result, and then I'll show you the mid results of two. One I just starting today, I'm cutting it off, and then one's about halfway done. I guess we'll call this, since I started that now, I'll call that Composter 1, I'll call this Composter 2, and I'll call the other one Composter 3 for simplicity of the video. I think in another video I might name them different. But this one here is about halfway. And it's looking pretty good. This is probably about 3 weeks in from the cutoff date. And I'm gonna give it a spin. It's probably almost ready to take out. So that's actually good, because I need the room. Yeah, I could use a little longer. Little corn husk left, but no big deal. It's going to break right up. So I'll give this another week or two, and then I'll unload this and I'll take this stuff to the garden. But absolutely no smell at all is what you're looking for. And you got this nice black gold. One egg didn't break down. That was just some eggshell I'll throw in there. That'll all grind up when you rototill in the spring. But this one's halfway ready. And it actually looks a little more than halfway ready. So now we'll go over to one. I'm cutting it off today. That's the one that has those recyclable bags in there. So we'll see if we can investigate that a little bit too while we're over there. Composter 3 for the sake of the video. I'm going to call it Composter 3. And I'm cutting this one off today. You got good old ShopRite bag in here. You got banana peel, onion, a little bit left over from cilantro, a little bit left over from parsley, watermelon, the ends of the cucumbers. All that stuff is in here. And here's some chicken droppings, and that's the watermelon from last time. And what we're going to do is we're going to spin this up and then see if I can find those recyclable bags in here. Because we know it takes 250 years to break one of these babies down, right? Not that I'm against them. We were told back in the day that these were going to save the environment, and we didn't want these paper bags because the paper bags were bad for the environment. Then we said, oh, we're going to go with plastic, and thinking that we're doing good, we're using these things. But maybe we should have been using these recyclable paper bags the whole time. That's what originally started this whole thing, to try to find an alternative to this with the recyclable type plastic that's probably made from like a corn or something like that, or some other biodegradable product. But really every one of those yellow bags that I pick up from the store gets recycled as a trash bag. So really it's saving me from buying additional plastic bags and sending those to the dump. So trash around the house goes in those bags, and that goes to the dump. So the bag doesn't just get one single use. It doesn't get thrown out the window like all the pigs that go up and down the road over here and just happen to throw stuff on my lawn that are going to and from work or partying at night. You know, you get empty plastic bottles, you get empty bags and all kinds of junk. So my bags get recycled. Whether the governor wants to charge 10 cents a bag or whatever, they want to charge 10 cents a bag for paper, and I can recycle those. So it's no harm to the environment. And really, those are no harm because I'm going to have to buy bags anyway, trash bags, and send those to the dump. So you want to turn this around a few times, try to mix some of that stuff up, and then we're going to monitor the moisture, and if we need to add some moisture to this, we will, because we don't want it running too dry, and we don't want it running too wet either. So let's see where we're at. And you don't want to overfill your tumbler dumpster or composter, because then the stuff won't break down. So here we have stuff that's in the mid-process. And here's one of the bags. Hard to really tell if this thing is breaking down, but it says compostable. I don't know, we're gonna see. But that's been in there. It has to be at least 3 weeks now. Close to 20 days, I would think. And maybe it's breaking down, maybe not. I really want it to, because I hate to see, if we can find something that's biodegradable or compostable, I would rather use that than use the plastic if possible. The drawback with these, it's not very good when you put your vegetables and things in there. They spoil a lot faster. That's pretty much it. And it's pretty good moisture in here. Maybe it really doesn't need anything. Maybe I'll add a couple gallons of water in here and we'll spin it up. Maybe I'll put a little bit of water in that next one. But you can see the progress already. And that's 3 weeks. Today's the cutoff date, so that's my official start date when I do these. So these will probably be in here close to 2 months before I empty the composter, and hopefully they break down, but it's not looking good. Last year they didn't. I found them in the garden in the spring when I rototilled them after I went through all this process. But anyhow, that's my compost operation. If you like what you see and you want to be notified when I come up with new videos, I'm going to be going over a lot of stuff with the chicken yard and do some hawk netting replacement when during the ice storm last year, kind of broke it up, so I have a new net I want to replace. I'm going to show you how to do that to keep the hawks out. I'll talk about the electric fence to keep the fox out, and some other items that I do. So make sure you hit subscribe, and if you like these videos, give them a thumbs up, and hopefully this is a Kickstarter to try to get more people composting, because if you could save tons of stuff going to the dump, it's cheaper on the taxpayer, and plus we're going to run out of space if we keep sending stuff to the dump like this. This stuff does not need to go to the dump, because this is valuable fertilizer, and your plants grow a lot better when they have that aeration from the organic matter that you're putting in there. So, all right, well that's it. I have to start wrapping up and try to get the chickens back into the house. They've been running around in the background. I don't know if you've seen them, but make sure you hit subscribe. I'll see you next time.